Kindly sit down. Salamat for the courtesy. Mahaba to. The Senate President Aquilino Pimentel III and the members of the Senate, Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez and members of the House of Representatives, Executive Secretary Salvador Medjalnia and members of the Cabinet present, Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez III, Budget and Management Secretary Benjamin Diokno, Senate Majority Leader Vicente Soto, House Majority Leader Rodolfo Fariñas, Senator Loren Ligarda, Chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance, Senator Juan Eduardo Angara, Chairperson of the Senate Committee on the Ways and Means, Representative Carlo Alex Nograles, Chairman of the House Committee on Appropriations, Representative Dakila Castro Chua, Chairperson of the House Committee on Ways and Means, Representative Milen Garcia Albano, of the 2nd District of Davao City, officials of the Union of Local Authorities of the Philippines, leaders from the business sector of the Philippines, development partners from the international community and civil society, fellow workers in government, my countrymen. Two laws that I signed today are the fulfillment of my campaign promise to institute genuine fiscal reform that will be felt by every Filipino. Through the bold and decisive efforts of our economic managers, we were able to design and craft a spending and tax plan embodied by the 2018 General Appropriations Act and the Tax Reform for Acceleration and Inclusion Act, RTVM. The implementation of these laws will serve as our national initial step towards cutting the poverty rate at 14% and making the Philippines an upper middle class by 2022. Hindi kaya ito apurado? I commend the DMS in timely submission of the draft and budget and the determination of the leadership of both Houses of Congress, especially the Appropriations and Finance Committee, for ensuring the careful scrutiny and prompt approval of the budget. The 2018 GAA, which is 12% higher than last year's budget, will primarily support infrastructure development and free education in state universities and colleges, universal health care, free irrigation, and the maintenance of peace and order across the country. This will also fulfill my campaign promise of doubling the basic pay of our soldiers and police officers, which will take effect on the very first day of 2018. Let me emphasize that this budget is a credible budget, and I assure everyone that this will be supported by the comprehensive tax reform program embodied by the train, subject to several line vetoes, which will be discussed separately in my veto message. The timely passage of train is indeed a milestone for the Department of Finance and our congressional leadership, especially the Ways and Means committees of both houses, who gave their full support for this measure after numerous hearings and hundreds of public consultation nationwide. This is the administration's biggest Christmas gift to the Filipino people, as 99% of the taxpayers will benefit from a simpler, fairer, and more efficient tax system. One of the train's most significant breakthroughs is that beginning January 1st, 2018, those earning below 250,000 will be exempt from income tax. And I thank all of you. The law also addresses long and overdue corrections in our tax laws and introduces a more progressive tax system where the rich and the poor contribute to give better services to our people. Revenues from the train will fund our priority projects to ensure equality education, including free tuition in state universities and colleges, equally quality health care, social protection, unconditional cost transfers, improve infrastructures to the Build program, and the reconstruction of Marawi. This is just an initial part of our gains under the comprehensive tax reform programs, as Congress has passed 2/3 of the expected revenues from the Package 1 of Train 1. I thank Congress again for its commitment to pass the balance by the first quarter of next year. I am directing the Department of Finance to ensure the effective implementation of Package 1 of Train and to immediately submit to Congress Package 2, which deals with corporate income tax early next year, which will complement the revenues of Train. The passage of 2018 GAA and Train is not just a victory for the legislative and executive branches of government. It is a victory for our people. It is my sincere hope that these measures will not just chart our spending and tax agenda in the coming years, but will also embody a new hope for the Filipino. Ito yung, may I be given about 20 minutes with your time? Kung meron pa, kung wala na, sinyas ko lang, Chis, at I will. This concerns the country. And I have decided to end the talks with the rebels. I don't think that we will be able to reach an agreement, even for 100 years. The way that they are behaving, and I don't know if Bebot Bello has any idea of how to proceed forward. Pero kasi ako, nakikita ko, and even in my communications with them, it boils down to one thing. And apparently, they really would want to have a coalition government. Wala akong problema dyan. Except that, as I have said before in many of my statements previously, I cannot give to them or share with them a sovereignty which is not my own. It is not mine to give. Ang mahirap kasi nito, tingin ko, in a scale of 1 to 10, tapos mag-abot tayo ng 7 or 8, and yung mga fundamentals nandoon pa rin, then parang I'll be boxed in a corner. And I don't have to do the explaining to the Filipino why it is so. So hindi ko talaga makita kasi papunta talaga tayo sa coalition. And, this is a country which is run by a constitution. And people just really want their officials to exercise the power elected, hindi appointed. So you can have the sovereignty in matters pertaining to Congress, to the executive department, and to the judiciary. But these are people who are appointed by the elected officials. And this is something which which is hard to explain to everybody. As I have said, you might elect a son of a bitch. But the problem is, if he is the choice of the people, wala tayong magawa. That is how this democracy runs. And that is how it is until now. If it was not running perfect, then there are other remedies, but a very circuitous one. So, wala tayo dito. I do not think that I would ever have the time to register. Sleep on it, ponder on it, and think of what will be the next move. Itong dito sa MIMN, it would do as well to really pursue talks with well-meaning moderate functions of the Moro people in Mindanao. Kasi the other option is, I do not even want to imagine how it would evolve itself for the public. Itong mga ito matagal na naghihintay. And they have been very patient. Ako ay salute Nor for just being there, keeping quiet. Sinasabi niya kung ano ang sabi ni Mayor, how we proceed with the someday, if it does not start now, medyo nagpapasensya na, reining his sources. Si Monad naman, in so many times of recent and past, they would want to see me on a regular basis and talking about the progress of the BBM. I do not think that it will hurdle constitutional. Binabasa ko ulit constitutional barriers. Pero pag hindi natin maibigay yan, kindly help me think of ways how to do it. Kasi, I said, the other choice is, if they go to war, it opens the floodgate of Mindanao to everybody else. You know, your enemy is my friend. And maybe now, ISIS is not acceptable to them. And as a matter of fact, they're fighting right today. Pero kung makagira-gira talaga to, and the demand for something that is to correct also the historical injustice committed against them, pag hindi natin ibinigay, mukhang malabo talaga at magkagulo. Ako, I'm just telling you. I'm not even warning you. You just observed how things are presenting itself before the horizon of Philippine politics. Sinasabi ko lang, we can ill afford fighting so many fronts. Nandyan yung NPA, nandyan yung secessionist ng the Moro of Mindanao, and the ISIS. That alone will eat a lot of our resources and keep us busy, and thereby in the process losing lives, innocent lives. Those are the... Kaya nandito man si John, tignan mo daw John paano gawin itong NPA talagang. But one thing that we are sure, they no longer have the second echelons of leadership. Wala na, puro ito brigands, and ang balita ko sa countryside in Davao, they go around. Umaabuso talaga itong kaibigan mo, bot. Pati I'll be forced to take harsh measures. Pati yung mga babae, yung mga multisinhipo na mga walang iya. They are into undisciplined, reduced to brigandage almost. So one of these days, the military is there in the other room waiting. It could be something like, I do what you do to me. Mahirap yung sila lang ang they get the upper hand because they can do anything without sans the restraint of any conventional. Well, if they are the losing end, it always is Geneva. Geneva is ipasay. And yet, kung tayo, we are hailed by almost everybody, wala namang kabase. Now, if we are really into extrajudicial killing, I just lost something, like one seriously wounded, one policeman last night sa Pasig. And I've been telling, and I would like to give a copy to you now para maintindihan lang rin tayo. Ito ba yung isang page lang nandito? And I got this from the INCB. It's the International Narcotics Control Board. It's worldwide. And it's titled Precursors and the United Nations Office of Drugs and Crime. It bears the logo. Basahin lang, nandito talaga ito lahat. Para kung yung mga human rights, kung magsalita sila, maintindihan mo rin. Nandito po, 9 minutes na ako, meron pa akong para makaintindihan tayo. At least alam ninyo. Kasi papatayin ko talaga itong mga putang inan to. You know, if you destroy my nation, wala akong cannabis, it's poppy. It is grown po ng organic thing. Ito namang organic is not really so virulent or vicious. You start being in stupor. Pero wala dito sinasabi na they go about running wild and killing people. Meron kayo ito, cannabis. Then the next is heroin, ecstasy, kasi ito sa iniinom ng mga sa wild parties ng nag-o-orgy. Kasama dyan yung, kayo siguro, yung iba dyan. Tablets or pills are sold as ecstasy may contain other potentially dangerous substances which can vary widely in strength. Pero ano namang sinabi na heroin uses risk overdosing on heroin which can lead to coma and to death respiratory. Alam mo, kung basahin mo pa LSD, it refers only to the damage of the person. Yung ano dito, yung the characterization of the drug. Methamphetamine, ang shabu. It's outstanding there, it says. Methamphetamine use sometimes triggers aggressive, violent, and bizarre behavior. Kasi nasabi ko na noon, talagang lumalaban itong, and my experience for 23 years as mayor, talagang lumalaban ito. Just like last night. Basta shabu. And mayroong armas talaga. I just don't know why people are disbelieving kung sinasabi ko, ito ang totoo. And I can only cite my personal experience having been mayor for 23 years in my city. Now, lahat na yon, when I became mayor, magprangka ako sa inyo. Sabi ko sa kanila, I am not a policeman, I am not a soldier. I'm trying to build the city. Kindly give me a chance. Pagbigyan niyo ang mga tao. We have been at it for the communists almost 50 years. Now, we are entering an era of another 50 years. Then itong, sabi ko, it has been going on and has created a lot of monsters. And wag mo na lang isali yung kay Bato, Santiago's figure. during his Padilla days, General Santiago. He gave the number 3 million. If you make 3 million of my country as slaves to a chemical called Cebu, magsama tagaloob ko. And Cebu, one of the immediate on long-term use, shrinks the brain of a person. Kaya yung mga community-based na rehab, hindi talaga obra yan. Alam ni, ayan si Cora, wala niya ano. She's been with us as mayor, as councilor sa syudad. Then she began to look at the horizon of Davao. Lumipat siya doon, naging mayor, governor pati congressman. Ngayon, ayaw nang umalis. Pareho kami. Papalit-palit na lang ng position. Bako, I have reached dead end. We built the first rehab almost 25 years ago. Ako yung nauna. Hindi naman nagdayabang. Paputok, ako ang nauna. Sigarilyo, ako ang nauna. Kunting yabang lang naman kasi ngayon lang eh. This is the first time that I've talked about it openly. Nauna kami sa women's code, nauna kami. Discrimination against LGBT and all, nauna kami. Sa Davao kasi nung pumutok, maraming kondo, maraming subdivision. Tapos sabihin, we do not sell condos and lands to Moro people. They're forcing us to craft a law defining discrimination and giving it sanctions. Nauna kami, hindi kami nahuli sa Davao. Pero yung experience ko sa Cebu, 8 out of 10, babagsak talaga, pabalik. And that is really a problem for the country. Wala na kasi akong nakitang ibang, kasi pabalik-balik na eh. And you know what, may I be forgiven by Maggie de la Riva. During our time, ang nire-rape doon siya, yung magaganda, one is, I do not have the permission, but theirs was a public one. Ang nire-rape doon talagang magaganda. Worth going to jail. Anong worth dying for? Kaya na, electrocuted man yun sila. Well, yan ang kabayaran. But itong, I cannot imagine now, modern times, na yung, pati yung 1-month-old na bata. At, you know, just give you an idea. Pag may kasama kayo yan, aling assembly, ayaw kung he-picks on grinding his teeth in front of you. Yan. Parang kinakain ang ngipin niya. At so lahat ng Cebu, ubus ang ngipin. Talagang sira. Gaya nila yan. Wala nang katapusan yan. So are the sons and daughters of sa Davao. Magnormal pero bigla na lang. Wala talaga yung patay ang Pilipino. Patay ang Pilipino kung gano'n. So when I was fixing Davao, I said, do not destroy, hindi ako militant na police, but do not destroy my city. Because if you do, I will really kill you. And do not destroy the young. Kasi pag the only assets available to us, mga anak namin. Hindi naman tayo lahat mayaman. So ilan lang kikitain natin at the end of our service with government? Police, security guard, ito mga sundalo. How much? 700, 800? And they retire at 56. If they get to live, what, 15 years more, saan sila makuha ng medisina nila? You think yung 700 today can provide you if you live another 15 years for the food, the medicine? Who will buy the oxygens? Who will pay for the hospitals? Who will pay for the funeral parlor? And who will bury us? Ito yung mga anak natin. Same with the OFW workers. You read every day. They are raped there because that's the practice of some tribes there in the Middle East. And sinabi talaga, I was once a congressman. I went there with Dilanggaling, sa Lupudin, and because may mga Katoliko na babae doon. And I was told by yung aide ni King Fahd, you better talk to your counterpart. Ako yung sa law and order, Nicolas noon. So I was the one sent.